Have you ever noticed how a simple compliment from an older man tends to land with more weight than a dozen flattering remarks from someone else? It isn't because he speaks more eloquently. It isn't because he's more charming, and it definitely isn't because he's putting in extra effort. It comes down to how experience reshapes the way a man perceives people. His words tend to move slower, feel more deliberate, and carry no urge to impress. When he hands out a sincere compliment, it registers less like persuasion and more like genuine acknowledgement. Speaking as a woman, I can tell you there's an enormous gap between being admired and being truly seen. Most women hear compliments about their looks constantly. Beautiful, attractive, pretty. While pleasant enough, those words often fade quickly, since they've been repeated so many times before. What actually sticks with a woman is when a man notices something beneath the surface. Her character, her presence, the way she moves through the world. That's precisely what we're diving into today. In this video, I'll walk through 9 compliments women genuinely treasure hearing from older men, and more importantly, why these particular compliments leave such a lasting mark. These aren't slick pickup lines or psychological tricks engineered to manufacture attraction. They're honest observations that reflect emotional maturity, confidence, and real appreciation. If you're new here, welcome. This channel explores female psychology, attraction, and relationship dynamics, all aimed at helping men build stronger, healthier, more meaningful connections. Let's start with the first compliment, because it reveals something every woman quietly hopes the right man will eventually notice. The first compliment women genuinely love hearing from an older man is, "I appreciate how comfortable you are with yourself." On the surface, it doesn't sound particularly romantic, and plenty of men brush right past it, convinced they need to praise a woman's looks to make an impact. But this compliment reaches somewhere physical compliments simply can't touch. Speaking as a woman, let me explain why. From a young age, many women grow up feeling perpetually observed, judged on their appearance, clothing, speech, even posture. Social media only intensifies that scrutiny, fueling endless comparisons that leave even self-assured women second-guessing whether they measure up. That's exactly why this compliment lands so differently. When a mature man notices a woman seems at ease in her own skin, he isn't evaluating her looks. He's recognizing the peace she's cultivated internally. Rather than saying, "You look beautiful," he's essentially saying, "I can tell you're not pretending to be someone else." That's a far richer form of appreciation. Women rarely forget the people who make them feel accepted rather than assessed. This compliment also reveals something about the man delivering it. It shows he isn't fixated on perfection, he's tuned in to authenticity. He notices confidence that doesn't crave attention and self-worth that doesn't hinge on constant reassurance. Ironically, once a woman feels fully accepted, she tends to relax, open up, and become more genuinely herself. That's why older men deliver this kind of compliment so effortlessly. They aren't chasing attraction, simply acknowledging what they sincerely admire. That quiet honesty is exactly what gives the words their staying power. The second compliment women genuinely cherish hearing from an older man is, "You have a calm presence. It's refreshing." It might sound like a passing observation, but psychologically it holds far more depth than most men realize. Speaking as a woman, calm has become one of the rarest qualities anyone encounters these days. We're surrounded by nonstop notifications, endless distractions, emotional drama, and people who mistake chaos for excitement. Because of that, many women spend their days buried under pressure and emotional noise. So when someone notices the calm she brings, rather than the excitement she generates, it feels remarkably validating. This compliment isn't about her looks or how entertaining she is. It's about how she makes people feel. Consider the underlying message. Being around her feels peaceful. Her presence eases tension rather than creating it. Conversations with her don't feel like a competition or an emotional roller coaster. These are qualities many women hope others will notice, yet rarely hear spoken aloud. Older men tend to offer compliments like this because one have come to value peace differently than younger men do. Experience teaches them that beauty grabs attention, but emotional stability is what makes someone want to stay. They've learned relationships fueled by constant intensity eventually burn out, while relationships grounded in mutual calm tend to last. When a woman hears, "You have a calm presence," she doesn't just feel flattered. She feels emotionally safe. She senses the man isn't chasing excitement or trying to dazzle her. He's appreciating the quiet qualities that make her distinct. That kind of recognition builds a connection that reaches well past ordinary attraction. The third compliment women deeply value hearing from an older man is, "I enjoy the way you think." Among all the compliments a woman might receive, this one speaks directly to her identity rather than her appearance. It shows you're paying attention to what's happening beneath the surface, and that can leave a far stronger impression than simply calling her attractive. Speaking as a woman, many conversations feel predictable. Some men are so preoccupied with making a good impression that they barely listen, waiting for their turn to talk, trying to be funny, or hunting for the right moment to flirt. In those moments, a woman often feels only half heard. This compliment shatters that pattern entirely. Telling a woman you enjoy the way she thinks acknowledges her perspective, her curiosity, and how she processes the world. Yours, read saying that talking with her is enjoyable because of who she is, not merely how she looks. That kind of appreciation is surprisingly uncommon. Older men tend to offer this compliment more naturally because they understand meaningful. Conversation builds stronger bonds than clever one-liners ever could. They aren't scrambling to impress. They're genuinely curious how someone views life, tackles problems, and expresses ideas. Women can typically sense that difference right away. Authentic curiosity feels nothing like performative attention. When a woman realizes a man values her mind just as much as her appearance, she often becomes more relaxed, more expressive, and more willing to reveal her real self. Because feeling intellectually valued creates a level of emotional intimacy, physical, compliments alone can never reach. The fourth compliment women genuinely love hearing from an older man is, "You don't try too hard, and that's attractive." At first it might not sound like much of a compliment, but beneath those words lies a message many women quietly long to hear, that she doesn't too need to perform to be appreciated. Speaking as a woman, there's often an invisible pressure to always be interesting, engaging, funny, confident, and effortlessly polished. Whether it's social media, work, or dating, many women feel constantly expected to present their best possible selves. Over time, that pressure grows exhausting. That's exactly why this compliment feels so refreshing. When an older man notices a woman is comfortable simply being herself, he's recognizing something more valuable than perfection. He's telling her that her natural personality is enough. She doesn't need to entertain him, compete for his attention, or morph into someone she isn't in order to earn appreciation. That creates immediate emotional ease. Older men tend to grasp this because there's learned authenticity beats performance every time. They've encountered enough people to distinguish someone desperately trying to impress the room from someone quietly secure in who they are. Experience teaches them genuine ease is difficult to fake. Ironically, this is often where real attraction begins. The instant a woman realizes she doesn't need to prove herself, she relaxes further and becomes more authentic. Instead of feeling evaluated, she feels accepted. And once someone feels accepted, trust builds naturally. That's why compliments like this linger in a woman's mind long after the conversation ends. They grant her permission to simply be herself. The fifth compliment women deeply appreciate hearing from an older man is, "You have depth." Not everyone does. This isn't the kind of compliment that triggers an instant laugh or dramatic reaction. Instead, it stays with her because it acknowledges something she hopes people will eventually notice, but rarely notice. Say out loud. Speaking as a woman, many grow weary of conversations that never venture past the surface. People typically notice appearance first, personality second, and very few take the time to uncover what someone genuinely believes, values, or has learned through life's trials. That's why being recognized for depth carries such weight. When an older man says, "You have depth," he's communicating that he sees more than what's immediately visible. Recognizing emotional maturity, thoughtful conversation, resilience, and the experiences that shaped who she's become. That kind of compliment can't be handed out after a quick glance. It only comes from genuine attention. Older men often notice these qualities because experience reshapes what they find attractive. Having lived through success, disappointment, joy, and hardship, they start valuing character over appearance. They understand beauty may catch the eye, but depth is what sustains connection long after the initial spark fades. For many women, hearing this compliment creates a profound sense of being understood. It tells her the man isn't interested in some idealized version of her, but in the actual person shaped by her experiences. And when a woman feels genuinely understood rather than merely admired, emotional trust starts growing naturally. The sixth compliment women genuinely love hearing from an older man is, "I respect the way you handle yourself." That single sentence carries a weight many compliments never reach, because respect isn't handed out casually, it must be earned. When a woman hears those words from a mature man, she understands he's noticed far more than a single moment. He's been paying attention to her character over time. Speaking as a woman, respect often carries more weight than praise. Compliments about beauty might brighten your day, but respect touches something deeper. It honors the choices you've made, how you respond under pressure, and the dignity you carry even without applause. Consider what this compliment truly conveys. It's not, "I like how you look." It's, "I've watched how you treat people. I've seen how you carry yourself. I've noticed your self-control, your kindness, your integrity." Those observations leave a lasting impression because they can't be offered without genuine attention. Older men naturally give compliments like this because experience teaches them character outweighs charm. Anyone can make a strong first impression, but consistency reveals who someone truly is. They no longer mistake confidence for volume or kindness for weakness. They recognize quiet strength when they encounter it. When a woman realizes she's being respected, rather than simply admired, the entire dynamic shifts. She no longer feels evaluated. She feels treated as an equal whose values and conduct are genuinely valued. That kind of compliment builds trust, because respect is among the sturdiest foundations any lasting relationship can rest on. The seventh compliment women deeply appreciate hearing from an older man is, "You don't feel like someone who's trying to prove anything." It may sound subtle, but psychologically it ranks among the most reassuring compliments a woman can receive, because it acknowledges quiet confidence over outward performance. Speaking as a woman, many people burn enormous energy justifying themselves, feeling pressured to explain every decision, defend every opinion, or convince others of their success, attractiveness, or worthiness. Over time, that becomes draining. So when someone notices you carrying yourself with quiet confidence instead of constant self-promotion, it feels deeply validating. This compliment communicates something far deeper than most realize. It tells her you're noticed. She isn't competing for attention or chasing approval from everyone around her. She's comfortable letting her actions speak louder than her words. That kind of confidence feels both calming and magnetic, because it feels real. Older men often recognize this quality because their self-weight reached a stage where they no longer admire people who constantly demand recognition. They've learned the most secure individuals rarely feel compelled to announce how confident, intelligent, or successful they are. Their character does the talking. When a woman hears this compliment, she understands the man isn't dazzled by appearances alone. He's noticing the quiet confidence underneath. That creates emotional safety because she doesn't feel pressured to keep proving herself. Instead, she feels appreciated simply for being who she is. That's exactly why compliments like this stay embedded in a woman's mind long after the conversation ends. The eighth compliment women genuinely love hearing from an older man is, "I enjoy being around you. It feels easy." Of all the compliments covered here, this may be the simplest, yet it often carries the greatest emotional weight. That's because it isn't fixated on what she has, what she does, or even how she appears. It's centered entirely on how she makes someone feel. Speaking as a woman, many worry constantly about being too much or not enough, talking too much, asking too many questions, being too quiet, or leaving the wrong impression. Those anxieties quietly infiltrate even the most enjoyable conversations. This compliment dissolves that pressure almost instantly. When an older man says being together feels easy, he's telling her that their time together doesn't feel like work. No awkwardness, no emotional exhaustion, no constant need to impress one another. Conversation flows naturally, silence feels comfortable, and neither person feels compelled to pretend. Older men tend to value this more than younger men because experience has taught them peace is genuinely precious. They've learned lasting relationships aren't built on nonstop excitement or dramatic emotion. They're built on consistency, comfort, and the ability to enjoy ordinary shared moments. The ninth and final compliment flows naturally from this idea. You make people feel at ease. That's a rare gift. Rather than focusing on her appearance or accomplishments, It acknowledges her kindness, warmth, and emotional presence, and the positive ripple effect she has on everyone around her. It honors the atmosphere she creates. For many women, knowing they bring peace, comfort, and genuine warmth into someone's way, life ranks among the most meaningful compliments they could ever receive. None of these 9 compliments earn their power through cleverness or romance. They earn it through sincerity. Every single one communicates something more valuable than attraction, attention. Most men assume the secret to a great compliment is finding the perfect words. In truth, the real secret is learning to genuinely notice people. Women can almost always sense the difference between a rehearsed compliment and one born from honest observation. One feels like strategy, the other feels like recognition. The compliments women remember for years rarely revolve around appearance. They're the ones that made them feel understood. This is the truth every man deserves to hear. The words that changed someone forever were never the loudest, the flashiest, or the most rehearsed. They were the truest. A single honest sentence, spoken with real attention, can outlast 1,000 empty flatteries, because sincerity has a weight nothing manufactured can ever match. Stop chasing the perfect line. Start paying attention to the person in front of you, her calm, her depth, her quiet strength, the way she makes a room feel lighter just by being in it. That is where real connection begins, not in performance, not in charm, but in seeing someone so clearly that your words become a mirror, reflecting back the best of who they already are. The older man doesn't win hearts because he tries harder. He wins them because he stopped, trying altogether and started truly seeing. Let that be your standard from this moment forward. Speak less, notice more. Compliment character before appearance. Offer respect before flattery. And when you finally give a compliment born from genuine observation instead of strategy, you won't just brighten someone's day. You'll leave a mark on their memory that outlasts every other voice that ever spoke to them. That is the kind of man worth becoming, and the kind of impression worth leaving behind.